the leader of the League Party, a contender to become Italy's next Prime Minister in the March 4th Italian election, said Mr Juncker should be reminded of his trivial political experience when it comes to who has more say on both sides of the Brexit negotiation table. Speaking exclusively to Express.co.uk, Mr Salvini said, "It's normal that in a negotiation so delicate there are elements of tension and friction, but what is unacceptable is the media campaign of criminalisation of the British vote, nor are the blackmail tactics employed by the pro-Europeans on the other side of the table. Besides, I'd like to remind Mr Juncker that he was only the Prime Minister of the micronation that is Luxembourg at the peak of his political career. On the other side of the table, Theresa May represents millions and millions of British voters. Getty Italian election, Matteo Salvini belittles Juncker's position in the Brexit negotiations. The Eurosceptic candidate has often vowed to stop abiding by damaging regulations and directives imposed by the European Union. Mr Salvini claimed Italy's contribution to Brussels is big enough to be able to negotiate its position in the Union and reform some of its core treaties on financial services. In a recent interview with Le 7 Coffee Break, Mr Salvini said, "I will seek to change some of the European treaties and regulations which penalize Italian people. I'd like to remind Mr Juncker that he was only the PM of the micronation of Luxembourg at the peak of his career." Matteo Salvini, "We need to put Italian interests before those of the European Union, or at least at the same level. The laws imposed by Brussels damage Italian artisans, traders, pensioners, but hey, Europe is asking, so we have to obey. Come on, if Europe asks me to throw myself in a well, I'm not going to do that just because Europe is asking me to, am I? We give the EU 20 million euros per year, that gives us the right to negotiate our position and reform the rules." Wednesday, February 28, 2018. Silvio Berlusconi's Forza Italy party is pro-European, but demands a greater role in the EU. "For Italy, I'm paying you, so the least you can do is to not damage my citizens, or I'll just stop funding you." Mr Salvini's party struck a pre-election coalition agreement with two other right-wing parties, Forza Italia and Fratelli d'Italia. The deal has sparked fears in Brussels that Mr Salvini could replace pro-EU Paolo Gentiloni as Italian Prime Minister.